Hey guys, and welcome back to yet another episode of the Canopy build series. Today we're talking all about canopy lighting, because while I do have a few light strips here and there's one up on the canopy door just here and another up on the canopy roof. Neither of those very effectively light up my big kitchen bench, which is where I do most of my cooking when I'm out camping, and none of those even get close to lighting up the end bench just here. So definitely something I want to fix before we set off on our big lap. My rough plan to solve this problem is going to be to install a nice bright light right here directly above my two kitchen benches with enough flood to go from the whole way inside my canopy setup, across bench number 1, across bench number 2, and possibly further as well. I'll then put a matching light on the front of that canopy door too, and I'll mirror this exact setup on the driver's side too, so no matter where we are around the canopy setup, we should have access to nice bright lighting. As far as the wiring is concerned, I'm going to run the wiring for both these new lights back to my existing 12-volt board here, and I'll just add a couple of switches to control those lights. And on the driver's side, I'll probably run those lights back to my 12-volt control hub. The actual lights we're going to be using for this project, you might have seen just behind me on the shelf just here, are ALTIQ's brand new Rock Light Pros, which I'm very excited to check out. And while they are called rock lights, which might sound a bit strange to be installing in my canopy doors, they're more of a multi-purpose light that's also weatherproof and heavy duty enough to be installed underneath the vehicle if you wanted to go down that route. But I reckon they're going to be perfect for this application. These lights are 10 watt each and give out a ridiculous amount of light. I actually hooked one up the other night for a quick test run and was seriously impressed. We'll definitely have to do some nighttime footage once these are all installed around the canopy. And on the front, they've got these built-in diffusion covers to give us a nice even spread of light. And that's going to be perfect for where I'm installing this one directly above that kitchen bench. So it's not just going to be a pencil of light coming straight down onto that bench. It's going to give us a nice even spread to light up the whole kitchen. What's also really cool is you can get these modified like colored covers for them as well. So you can clip on a green cover, you can clip on a blue cover, you can clip on a amber cover, or my personal favorite, you can clip on a red cover. So if the bugs are out, I might be chucking either the red or the amber cover on to attract those bugs a little bit less. And they also come with these 30-degree mounting blocks to get your light shining exactly where you want it. So you can easily just chuck your light on that mounting block, and now when that's mounted up flush, your light is on a 30-degree angle. Alrighty, time to get stuck into the installation, and if we take a look at the front of one of these lights and remove that clear cover, we can see there's just one central mounting bolt location, which makes my life nice and easy. It means all I have to do is drill a hole just here in my canopy and on the front there as well to get these lights bolted up firmly in place. Now I am quite fortunate with the design of my canopy doors because I can actually fully remove these two panels, bring them across to the bench, I'll get my lights installed there, then I'll bring them back, get them reinstalled, and then we can tackle the wiring. There we go, my two kitchen lights are now fully installed and looking pretty neat up on that canopy door just there. And the next step for me is going to be to install my little switch panel up on my electrical board just here. So I've just bought one of these little Carling style switch panels with the two built-in rocker switches that comes mostly pre-wired on the back there. But to install this on that headboard there, I am going to have to space it out a little bit so all of the rear of the switches and that wiring doesn't clash with anything behind this panel. And to do so, to space it out roughly 15 mil, I've just bought this 18 by 18 mil box wood strip from Bunnings. I'm just going to chop that down into 4 lengths, screw that into a sort of like a rough box shape, wrap it in carpet and screw that to this board to act as a bit of a middleman between that electrical board and the switch panel. To stick the carpet to my switch spacer, I'm using the same synthetic grass adhesive that I normally use because it sticks unbelievably well. Now that the carpet has been stuck down, I'm adding some small clamps to keep it all together and leaving it to dry for a couple of hours. After the glue is cured, it's just a matter of cutting away the excess carpet and our spacer is ready to be installed. To cut a hole for the switch wiring to go through, I'm just using a multi-tool because it allows me to make my cuts without removing the board. For the wiring, it's just a matter of connecting the positive and the negative from the lights to a fused power supply. For mine, I'm extending the wiring and splicing both lights together so they're activated using the same switch. With the wiring for both lights run back to my 12-volt board, I connected the negative to a common earth and the positive to my new switch panel. Now that the kitchen side is finished, it's time to move on to the right-hand side of the canopy. So believe it or not, it's a brand new day. These projects always seem to stretch over a couple of days, especially when we're trying to do 1,000,000 things to get ready to set off on our big trip. Now I have completed the lighting on this right-hand side. However, I've run into a bit of a snag because I didn't take into consideration my drawer module just here when mounting these lights up on that locking strip. And now they're bolted in place, when I try and close this door down, it just doesn't close properly because those lights are actually connecting or colliding with the drawers. And while I probably could get that canopy door to latch, that's as closed as it's going to be, which is obviously no good. So that means I have to remove those lights and find a new home for them. And that's going to leave me with a hole in my canopy door. So I've been down to Super Jeep Auto and I bought myself these blanking grommets, little rubber grommets there that I'm going to slip into those holes, so at least we're not left with holes in the door. They'll be covered with these rubber grommets, and then I'll relocate those lights up onto these sections just here, which in hindsight will actually be a bit of a neater solution anyway, because there'll be nothing protruding below that canopy door. So definitely worth planning out where you're putting your stuff and making sure nothing's going to collide, but that's just the fun of DIY. To keep things simple, I'm running the wiring for all 4 lights back to my 12-volt control hub, using one of the available switches to control all 4 lights. Alrighty, my lights are now fully installed, all that wiring is neatened up, night has fallen and it's time to give it its first proper test run. So right now, this is all the lighting I used to have, the strip up on the door there and the one inside in the canopy as a bit of a comparison. So this is how much light I've had up until date. So this bench is lit up pretty much from this point in is the brightest section, a bit duller here and no light at all down on the final bench. So now if I turn off our old lighting in there as well and turn on our new lights, there we go, so much more light than before. This bench obviously fully illuminated, and more importantly, down here on the lower bench, that is now properly lit up, which is such a fantastic difference. And around the other side, I've actually installed 4 of these lights, so I can only imagine how bright that's gonna be. Let's head around there and check it out. Alrighty, let's fire these up. So I've got them plumbed back to my 12-volt control hub. There we go, such an insane amount of light. This whole section is now fully lit up. And what I like too is it's quite a nice generous amount of flood. So even though there's 2 lights in here shining straight down, there's no particular hot spots in that light. It's all just nicely illuminated. And of course, we've got color options of white like they are now, or green, blue, amber, or red, which is my personal favorite with those optional clip-on covers. So I chucked them back to white so you can see me a bit easier on camera, and honestly that has made such a difference to the amount of light we have, in particular this side of the canopy, but also of course across on the kitchen. Again, for a comparison, this is how much light we had before on this side of the canopy, so you can see just how much extra we get from those 4 additional lights. And as far as power consumption goes, which is something that I was particularly interested in, we can see if I turn those lights off, right now we have a draw of 0 amps on that battery, so nothing is drawing power at all. And now if I reach in and turn those lights on, we can see our power consumption jumps up to 2.6 amps for all 4 of those lights running at exactly the same time. So if we do some quick math and divide that 2.6 by 4 for the 4 lights we've got running here, each light is drawing roughly 0.65 amps, which is probably a touch more than you'd expect from a small light you've got mounted in your canopy, but you can absolutely see why with the amount of light these are actually putting off and how useful they're going to be for us out on our adventures. So that wraps up today's episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll leave links to these lights in the description down below if you're interested in checking them out for your setup. Leave any questions you have in that comment section down below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can, and I'll catch you in the next one.